And President Trump touting the military successes of Operation Absolute Resolve as he speaks to House Republicans ahead of the midterms. And the Trump administration going beyond Venezuela, laying out their national security strategy. We go now live to NTD's Washington correspondent, Mari Otsu, who's standing by at the North Lawn of the White House. Mari, good evening.
Steve, good evening. And just moments ago, President Trump's announcing that Venezuela is going to be turning over what he says 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to the U.S. And this is coming just a few days after Operation Absolute Resolve, that is that historic capture of former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and his wife. And now the Trump administration is doubling down on what President Trump calls the Don Roe Doctrine, laying out their vision not only for the future of Venezuela, but also connecting the dots to their broader national security strategy, with President Trump vowing to fix all countries serving as proxies for American enemies. And case in point, the White House tonight is confirming President Trump's desire to acquire Greenland as a national security priority, and he's not ruling out U.S. military intervention. Here's the president earlier today at the Trump Kennedy Center touting the operation. Take a look.
But the United States proved once again that we have the most powerful, most lethal, most sophisticated, and most fearsome. It's a fearsome military on planet Earth.
The effects of Maduro's capture beginning to be felt around the world. Venezuelan oil shipments to China are on hold, and President Trump predicts the fall of Cuba's communist regime.
Cuba is ready to fall. Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela.
Cuba now reporting that at least 32 of the 80 people killed in U.S. strikes were Cuban military.
Cubans, mostly Cubans, but many, many killed.
It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who inside to make sure there are no traitors, those are all Cubans.
The Maduro regime was long propped up by Cuba's armed forces and counterintelligence agencies. And Cuba sent tens of thousands of doctors, nurses, and sports figures to Venezuela in exchange for oil discounts. Maduro himself went to Cuba to train as a labor leader, attending a Communist Party training institute called the Nico Lopez School.
But he's a violent guy. And he's killed millions of people. He's tortured. They have a torture chamber in the middle of Caracas that they're closing up.
The Trump administration insisting they're not at war with Venezuela, but rather righting two injustices.
And up until recently, that oil reserve was exploited by our adversaries to fund their ambitions, to fund their militaries, to fund their terrorism, and just as importantly, our adversaries no longer have the ability to use Venezuela to export terrorism around the globe.
Meanwhile, President Trump eulogizing Congressman Doug LaMalfa.
He was the leader of the Western Caucus, a fierce champion on California water issues. He was great on water. He wanted to release the water, he'd scream at him. And a true defender of American children. He was a defender of everybody.
President Trump saying that LaMalfa passed away yesterday at 65 years old. His death now tightening the House majority to 218 Republicans and 213 Democrats. Steve, back to you.
Mari Otsu, live from the White House. Thank you.